Good evening, everyone.
We
Welcome to the Utilities.
was just going to say we're live. You're good.
Thank you, Corey. Welcome to the Utility Safety and Environment Committee meeting. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the August 19th, 2020 Utilities Committee meeting minutes. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Technology, you gotta love it. Corey, are we good?
You're good. I had my mic open. That was absolutely my fault.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next item on the agenda is the matter of the Horizon Educational Center East Rec lease agreement. Mrs. Deary, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My office, through Attorney Brunig, circulated a draft contract to the members of the committee earlier this week, and I would be happy to answer any questions if any members of the committee have any. Also, Director Reardon has seen the draft, and prior to working on it, both Mr. Brunig and I sat down with Carrie to discuss the ins and outs of the agreement and what the expectations would be for Horizon, and also what Horizon would be expecting out of us as the city. So we feel good about this. Obviously, Horizon was going to have the opportunity to provide input, and so this may not be the final, but we anticipate it will be pretty close. So that's all I have.
Are there any questions, Mrs. Davis?
Through you, Madam Chair. So we know that East Rec is under a little renovation. So is it going to be ready for Horizon to move in on the 4th, or are they going to have to use an alternate space until Rec is available?
Mrs. Reardon, I believe, can speak more specifically about that.
Yeah, thank you. It will be available on the 4th, which is the day after election, so we're going to be using it for voting. But as far as usable from the construction or update standpoint, it will be ready to use. Now, whether they're ready to move in that day or not, I can't speak to that. They may have a day or two of needing to move equipment and things in, but on our end, it will be ready for that day.
And also, just to add, through you, Madam Chair, it's my understanding in speaking with Mrs. Reardon and her speaking with the contacts at Horizon, they have commenced their program temporarily at one of their own facilities, and they would stay put until they were able to move to East Rec, rather than kind of hopscotching around at another temporary place at one of our other facilities, and then going onward to East Rec. So Mrs. Reardon's assured that the renovations at East Rec are on track to be done first thing in November, and so obviously she's keeping a close eye on that, but the agreement is for East Rec, and Horizon seems to be on board with that.
Thank you, Mrs. Deary. Thank you, Mrs. Reardon. Are there any other questions? Mr. Serra.
Through you, Madam Chair. Going forward, if we have to move them to a different facility because of a problem, is there something in here that allows that? I didn't notice anything.
No, this would be for East Rec. Obviously, Mrs. Reardon, if you want to expand upon this, it is my understanding that we do not anticipate any issues. Obviously, if there were to be something unanticipated, that is something that we would need to work out. And there's is a termination provision in this agreement on both sides. This agreement is for this current school year. Obviously, it would be, could be subject to renewal, at which time a new contract would be entered into.
Thank you.
Do you want to add anything, Mrs. Reardon?
No, I mean, the only thing that I could think of would be typical building issues as far as, like, there's no water to the building, or, something like that, but those typically we won't know till the last minute. So unfortunately, sometimes, and we've had this in the past where we've had to just cancel a program for a day just because, health and safety wise, we just can't have people in the building. But those are just kind of things that we just, deal with as they come up. Now, if it were to be something long-term, major, then yeah, I think we would have to revisit with Horizon and even see what they would want their options to be at that point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? I just have one. I know that we state in the contract that we have to have a certificate of insurance from Horizon, and we will have that, we will have seen that prior to the contract being signed?
It will be,
On file?
yes, it will be on file.
Okay.
And not just a proof of insurance, but a requirement that insurance is maintained throughout the life of this agreement, that the city is named as an additional insured, and that it is in the amounts and the type of
Yes.
insurance is maintained as set forth. Let's see, are these pages? Now, of course, they're not numbered for me.
It's on
But-
page 3.
Yes, thank you. 3 into 4. Yes, we'll be required to have that on file.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Mrs. Reardon or Mrs. Deary? Seeing that there are none, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the contract agreement with Horizon for their lease with the City of Elyria for their after-school program, and this is an ordinance authorizing to renew.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And Mrs. Deary, thank you and Mr. Brunick for all your hard work on this and for turning it around so quickly. And thank you, council members, for looking at this. Good work here. Thank you very much. And Mrs. Reardon as well. Thank you so much, Carrie. The next item on the agenda is the matter of a request to apply for a grant through the Land and Water Conservation Fund program. Mrs. Reardon, please.
Madam Chair. So yeah, I had passed this out at the beginning, which is just a very brief proposal of what we plan to apply for. This is the same grant that we were able to apply for and receive funding for partial of the splash pad project in 2016. So with that, we were able to pay for the fencing and the pavilion. But yeah, that's, it's pickleball courts, the trail, a new restroom, all things that are in, the master plan, the current master plan, and all things that were kind of on the, 5-year, 10-year capital plan. But this grant came up, so I think it's a great opportunity as a matching grant. So we would match with Issue 6 funds. So it's a 1-to-1 matching grant. So the approximate cost of this project would be $725,000, the total cost. So the city's fund would be half of that, or portion would be half of that. $362,500 would be our portion, again, which would come out of Issue 6 funds for 2021. We do have 2 years to complete it after it's awarded, so we have plenty of time. Nothing would be rushed and just, thrown out there. These are awarded in the springtime, so you apply, November 16th is the deadline, but it does take, quite a few months for them to make the decision. So yeah, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you. Mr. Oswald.
Through you, Madam Chair. On this, the total project cost, $725,000. So what if it comes back and they say, oh, well, we can only give you $500,000? Then do we cut back the amount of work that we're doing, or how does that work?
So that's funny that you asked that, because I asked that same exact question in a meeting that we had about it the other day, but, the folks that are helping us with the grant, it's an either an all or nothing, they said. So they will either accept and award your whole project, or you would get $0.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mrs. Deary?
Through you, Madam Chair, just so I understand for purposes of preparing the legislation, so this actually, the grant goes to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, is that correct? And then the funding is actually Land and Water Conservation Fund, which is federal funding, but
Yes.
it's ODNR. that
So
gets
it's
the
federal
grant.
funding that is spread out to all the states, and then ODNR happens to be the entity that oversees it for Ohio.
Okay, very good, thank you. And you said we did something similar in 2016?
Yeah, we were
Okay.
awarded, $69,000, so.
Okay, that will be helpful too.
And I do have a copy of that down in the office, so with because there's a bunch of other forms that we kind of have to put with it. So if you need anything from that, just let me know.
Yeah, if you have a copy of the ordinance, that would be wonderful.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
yep.
So this is at West Park, so I'm partial. I'm extremely happy that we're going to get a walk actually use. So I'm very happy about this. Are there any other questions for Mrs. Reardon or Law Director Deary? Seeing that there are none, I'll read the committee report. Mayor, did you want to weigh in on anything, or are you just hanging out with us? Okay. Let's see. We have considered the matter of the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, and this is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to apply for and accept, if offered, said grant. Applications are due to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, ODNR, by November 16th, 2020. This will be an emergency as well. Do we need to put the funding or the dollar amount on the ordinance, or not necessary? I don't. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So may I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. There is no other business to come before this committee. I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Yes.
This meeting is adjourned. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Night.
Please make sure you sign the legislation